Anytime that you feel a sense of urgency, it's almost always a time to pause. If you feel urgency that you need to respond to an email right now and like everything else is falling aside and it's like you have tunnel vision that you have to answer right now, most likely that is your defense mechanism that's coming up. You are triggered. If your kids have done something you're upset about and you feel like you have to teach them a lesson right now or you have to get into it right now, chances are not a good time to do it. Might be something to sleep on. I call this don't scratch the itch. It is so compelling to scratch that itch. It's so itchy. It feels like, I gotta deal with this right now. Usually it's better if you don't. What's happening is that you're in the amygdala part of your brain, in the kind of primitive part, the lizard brain area, and you are not thinking clearly. It's feeling so urgent, like you have to respond, because that's what that part of your brain does. It creates a sense of urgency because all it cares about in that very moment is your safety. That's it. It cares about your safety and perhaps the safety of your children. If we practice the pause, what will happen is that we won't be stuck in our amygdala anymore. We will be able to engage our prefrontal cortex. We'll be able to think more clearly, and then we'll be able to come at whatever it is that we were dealing with much more clear eyes. Otherwise, what we're doing is we're looking at the problem from the place of our fear mind, from our past, from being a child, from our inner protector, from the place of our needs not getting met or somebody offending us or somebody upsetting us. And sometimes it's really simply our perception of the situation. It's not actually the reality. So often what's happening is we're seeing it through the lens of our traumas, through the lens of our fear, through the lens of our own needs, and we are not seeing the situation clearly. So when we allow our brain to sort of settle, our nervous system to regulate, and we can come into our prefrontal cortex, that means that we need to practice the pause. That means we need to probably sleep on it. Then we can come to the conversation in a much more centered, wise way, and from the place that we won't do things that we regret. So don't scratch the itch, because when we scratch the itch, we almost always regret it. It's just like your skin. You scratch the itch and then you end up with a boo-boo. Don't scratch the itch.